Can't complain.
I'd like to call
yeah, I see her
the
every
Oregon
day.
City Council meeting for March 23rd. The time is 7 p.m. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Mrs. Snyder, please take a roll call of council members.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Here.
Mr. Andrus?
Here.
Mr. Drake?
Here.
Mr. Gibbs? Here. Mr. Horniak?
Here.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Here,
Mr. Wallensack?
Here.
All right. Everyone's here tonight. Thank you. Joining us this evening is Mayor Stephen Solander, Acting City Administrator Paul Roman, Clerk of Council Josette Snyder, Law Director China Pfeiffer, Public Service Director Acting Rodney Schultz, Chief of Police Chief Began, Brandon Began, Chief Ryan Spangler, Chief of Police, Fire Chief Clayton O'Brien, Fire Chief Mark Mullins, Finance Director Nick Roman. Also in attendance is Building and Zoning Commissioner Stephen Shrake, and that should round up that group. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over now to the mayor for appointments.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to do this so that you all don't have to hang out through our extremely exciting meeting. So, first thing we're going to start off with, I'm going to go through all the appointments today before the meeting as well, just to get those wrapped up. So, starting off, we'll do the seasonal appointments in the street division. So, I'm requesting asking council's concurrence on the list presented there. To be hired as summer seasonal work in the street division. The individuals will be assigned to the cemeteries and street department with an effective hire date of April 6th of 2026. So council, I'm just looking for the concurrence on the list presented.
Council, is there a motion to concur?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
I move for concurrence.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Mayor, council concurs.
Any opposed?
I'm sorry, is there any objections? No objections. Council concurs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, we have an appointment for water distribution, an appointment for Joshua Mentor of Genoa, Ohio. I guess that's originally Genoa, but anyway. To be placed in step one of the SB pay range, which is an hourly rate of $31.35 an hour, or an annual rate of $65,208. This appointment will be effective on Monday, April 13th, 2026. Council looking for your concurrence.
Okay. Council, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to concurrence.
Okay.
Second,
All right, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Council, is there any objections? Hearing none, he's good to go.
All right. Next, we have, starting with a resignation in the fire department. This is looking for the acceptance of the resignation of Tyler Pitzenberger. It's a part-time firefighter 2 EMT within the fire department, and this will be effective April 1st, 2026. Looking for your concurrence.
Council,
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
I move to accept the concurrence.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Council, any objection? Hearing none, it's concurred.
Thank you. All right, next on to the appointments of our firefighters. So first of all, thank you so much. We're very excited to have you join our team. We're starting with appointment of Mr. Warwick. It'd be Lucas Warwick, be placed in the pay scale step 6, which is an hourly rate of $36,506.28, based on 50 hours per week, totaling $94,916.33. Requesting this appointment be concurred with an effective start date of Tuesday, March 24th, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the appointment.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
I'll-
Second by Mr. Walczak.
Horniak.
I'm sorry, Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. Next, we're moving on to a full-time firefighter for Seth Gray to be full-time firefighter 1 EMT. Be placed in pay scale step 1, which is an hourly rate of $23,440.96. Based on a 50-hour week is a yearly salary of $69,4650. And this will be an effective date of Wednesday, March 25th, 2026.
Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you. Mayor, council concurs. Any objections? I'm sorry. No objections, council concurs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next, we're moving on to Tyler Orns. He will be asking for a concurrence on him as a full-time firefighter 1 EMT. This is a lateral. He'll be placed on the pay scale step 1, which is an hourly rate of $23,440.96, based on a 50-hour week, a yearly salary of $69,4650, requesting this to be an effective date of Thursday, March 26, 2026.
Okay, council, do I hear a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Pavloff, second by Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. Next, moving on to Corey Schaefer, requesting concurrence on the appointment of him as full-time firefighter 1 EMT. He'll be placed in the scale step 1, which is an hourly rate of $23,440.96, based on a 50-hour week, yearly salary $69,4650. This will be effective Friday, March 27th, 2026. Council?
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. I'll second it. Council, any objection? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. Next, we're on to Tyler Dillon. Tyler, we're requesting concurrence on an appointment for Tyler as a full-time firefighter 1 EMT. He'll be placed on pay scale step 1, again, hourly rate $23,440.96, based on a 50-hour week, yearly of $69,4650, and this will be effective on Saturday, March 28th, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, council, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Any objections? Council concurs.
Thank you. Next, moving on the appointment of Ross Welling, asking for concurrence on his appointment as a full-time firefighter 1 EMT in the fire department. Placed on step 1, again, hourly rate $23,440.96 on a 50-hour week is a yearly salary of $69,4650. This will be effective on Sunday, March 29th, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. Next, we're moving on to the appointment of Michael Yana, asking for concurrence on appointment as a full-time firefighter 1 EMT. This is also a lateral. It'd be placed on step 1, which is an hourly rate, again, $23,440.96 on a 50-hour week, yearly salary $69,4650. This will be effective on Monday, March 30th, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pavloff?
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pavloff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. Next, moving on to Michael Roberts, asking for a concurrence on appointment of Michael Roberts as full-time firefighter 1 EMT, again, a lateral. Be placed on step 1, which once again, $23,440.96, based on a 50-hour week, yearly, $69,4650. This one will be effective on Tuesday, March 31st, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell.
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you. And finally, wrapping it up, we were here at Jackson Tiller, looking for concurrence on appointment for Jackson of full-time firefighter 1 EMT, another lateral. Again, step 1, $23,440.96 on a 50-hour week, yearly salary, $69,4650. This will be effective on Wednesday, April 1st, 2026.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell,
I move to concur with the mayor's appointment.
is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Council, any objections? Hearing none, council concurs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, council, and thank you to all of you, and congratulations on your appointment to the various positions. We're very happy to have you. So, I mean, if anyone has the desire to say anything, you're more than welcome to. Not required, but it's up to you. But thank you and welcome.
Corey, did you raise your hand to come up and speak? All right. I know you're a man of few words, right? Yeah, congratulations. All right, next up, Mr. Mayor.
You guys you don't have to stay if you don't want to, so you're more than welcome to, of course, if you'd like. But enjoy the show. Have a great night. Thank you. Thank you again and welcome.
Well, we do the meetings next, right? Okay.
Do you ever sign these?
Look at a few minutes.
Is that audit stuff?
Okay. Should I skip the Davis? Okay, we're going to move on. Next order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from March 9th, regular meeting, and March 16th, committee of the whole. I seek a motion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I move to approve the minutes of the March 9th regular and March 16th committee of the whole meeting as presented.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Motion made by Mr. Horniak, seconded by Mrs. Pauloff. Council, is there any objection? Hearing none, the meetings are accepted. Thank you.
Yeah, so now we'll do the proclamation.
Okay, yep. Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, thank you, Mr. President. All right, now we have a proclamation this evening designating April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we do have people from the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, Ohio, to join with us. So we have a proclamation here, and I'll read it here for us. We are designating April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month, whereas the City of Oregon applauds and supports the Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, Ohio, for its dedicated work in the prevention of child abuse in our community and for their tireless promotion of ongoing programs that serve our community, which are designed to help prevent child abuse. And whereas the City of Oregon stands firmly on the side of prevention of any type of abuse and believes no child should endure verbal, emotional, or physical abuse for any reason. And whereas we all have a responsibility as individuals, neighbors, community members, and citizens of Oregon, Lucas County, to help create healthy, safe, and nurturing experiences for children. And whereas safe and healthy childhoods help produce confident and successful adults. And whereas child abuse and neglect often occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources and do not know how to cope. And whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure every family has the support they need to deserve to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas it is recognized that no one person can do everything, but that everyone can do something. And together we can create change for the better. And whereas effective prevention programs succeed because of partnerships among agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and business community. And whereas the National Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay adopted the prevention of child abuse as its national project in 1979 in response to a request by its national president, who, as a physician, noticed an increase in abuse cases in his medical practice, and since then, April has been designated as Prevention of Child Abuse Month, and we encourage all of our residents and community leaders to wear blue each Monday in April in observance of Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so now I, Stephen Solander, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Oregon, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Please.
Hi, I'm Bob Bocci from the Great Exchange Club of Greater Maumee Bay, and I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do the proclamation and recognize April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. The proclamation helps bring awareness to our community, and that's an abuse that's often hidden. Prevention starts with all of us, and we encourage everyone to get involved. If you see something, say something. By speaking out, you can ensure children's voices are heard. They are our future, and every child deserves a happy and safe upbringing. Once again, thank you for standing up with us and for our mission. And you'll notice a banner going up on Navarre and Wheeling at the 1st of April with blue ribbons on Navarre. That'll signify our child abuse prevention. So thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
Jim, Laura, you get warmed up. Jim, you're in the bullpen. Jim, you're in the bullpen. Laura's on deck. How was the concert? Where was it at? Nice. Good place. Good. Okay, next on the agenda is persons and delegates. First up is Laura Davis. Mrs. Davis. Just state your name and address, please.
Laura Davis, 5494 Bayshore Road. When elected officials are in the room and 50 people show up and start screaming and yelling, I have been in the rooms with these data center opposition people. They aren't very nice people. They yell foul language. They carry foul signs. This is my foul sign. This is a quote from Gary Thompson during his Channel 11 interview with Jeff Smith on Leading Edge. This show was broadcast on March 15th. He also stated during the interview that he was not expecting such organized opposition. That's right, we are the organized opposition. Our United Neighbors of Oregon Coalition was formed in August of 2025. We are still and always will be opposed to a data center in Oregon. Our perseverance reminds me of a song by Tom Petty called "I Won't Back Down." Some wish we would just give up and go away. I will tell you now, we are not giving up. Week after week, we show up and speak up. We voice our opinions, data, research, and opposition. I might also add that we do it without yelling and screaming and using foul language and foul signs. Another point for rebuttal was brought up by Gary Thompson is New Albany used to have the worst schools and now they have the best. Well, New Albany is one of the most affluent cities in the country. The yearly income ranges from $232,000 to $238,000. The home prices range from $500,000 to $3 million. My point is due to the money in that city, if New Albany had the worst schools before the data centers, it was most likely because of poor budgeting and misuse of funds. While I am on the subject of New Albany, their data center complex has now expanded to 73 with 6 data center providers. We have been there to see the site for ourselves. There is ongoing construction and expansion. One of many concerns of our Oregon residents is if the data center gets approved, will they expand the complex to the east side of Wynn Road? This question has been asked, but there has never been a definitive answer. The fear of this happening is a valid one since there has not been any answer to this very important question. There has already been talk of the developers now wanting more land on northern Wynn Road. As I mentioned before, once there is one data center allowed, there are always more. One is never enough. We also drove past the Bowling Green site last week. What started as one building now looks as if it's going to be extended closer to I-75. The best and only way I see to prevent this growing invasion is to not allow it in the first place. I wanted to again mention the unofficial Facebook survey that was done a few months ago. The results of the 24-hour survey were 78% against, 12% for, and 10% other. So this should be an indication of how your city feels about a data center being constructed in Oregon. I hope that this issue will be added to the November ballot. This time-sensitive deadline is approaching. Please let the citizens decide. As I again stand in front of the mayor, council members, and concerned citizens, I am asking you all to consider whether a data center is really needed or wanted in Oregon. Think about the disruption of our peaceful community life. Consider the people who live nearby the proposed site. Think about it if it were your family living next to the data center. What if you were one of the families who were forced to sell their homes that they had built as their forever homes? Think of those who with medical concerns that would be affected by the noise and toxic emissions. You were all elected to do what is in the best interest of the community. Are you going to vote for the health and well-being of our citizens or the big flashing dollar signs? As Gary Thompson stated, if a city does not want a data center, they should not have a data center. What part of this is not being understood?
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Next is Mr. Jim Davis. Mr. Davis.
Jim Davis, 5494 Bay Shore Road. Tonight, I would like to speak about the role of the Regional Growth Partnership in the debate over data centers in this area. Mr. Gary Thompson recently appeared on the Toledo 11 broadcast Leading Edge. On this program, Mr. Thompson criticized local groups that are opposing data centers as promoting disinformation about the detrimental impact of data centers. He also stated the RGT did not expect this level of organized opposition. Well, UNO, along with other local groups such as Aw Crap, are proud to represent this organized opposition. In fact, when my wife and I walk in the council chambers, I'm sure that some in the room say, uh-oh. The RGP would like to give the impression that somehow we have been misinformed, that we need to be educated on the issues surrounding data centers. While our group and others have done months of research on the negative impacts of data centers. First, there is the issue of power. Before generative AI became popular, this country was on a path of reduced energy consumption, primarily because of energy-saving appliances and the introduction of LED lighting technologies. That all changed with AI. AI data centers gobble massive amounts of power. In Loudoun County, Virginia, power bills have jumped 250%, and a similar situation exists in Columbus, Ohio. The industry's response to this is to build their own behind-the-meter power plants. The problem with this is twofold. First, burning natural gas generates air pollution, including nitrogen oxides and other hazardous air pollutants, which contribute to climate change and have been linked to childhood asthma and an increase in heart attacks and early death among senior citizens. Why is this important to Oregon? Because there are 3 schools within 5 miles of this proposed plant, and a second, even larger power plant is being planned in Oregon. The second issue is fracking. The natural gas that these plants intend to use is produced by fracking. Fracking has been linked to poisoning and drying up of water wells in eastern Ohio and Pennsylvania. So the massive expected use of natural gas for data centers will contribute to environmental destruction elsewhere in Ohio and other states. Next is the issue of noise and water consumption. The developers use the buzzwords closed loop to claim that this system will not use much water. RGP keeps using the figure of 2 Hampton hotels as a comparison. I'm not sure why they're picking on Hampton. I've stayed there many times and never run out of water when taking a shower. I have dug into these claims. Microsoft is the company that pioneered this concept as a way to address the objections over water consumption. Keep in mind that 99% of the data centers out there still do not use a closed-loop system. They don't actually yet have any data centers using this technology in operation. First few are scheduled to start operating later this year. So what does this have to do with noise? Well, these chips generate massive amounts of heat, and water is the most efficient way to reject this heat. Closed-loop systems must rely on chilled water to cool the chips. This is done indirectly using chillers that use a lot of fan-cooled heat exchangers about the size of a small car. They have to move a lot of air to provide this cooling, so the fan noise generated is loud and constant. So in addition to the low-frequency noise from the power, there's noise generated by the chillers and the heat exchangers. Both emit noise at low frequency that is extremely hard to mitigate. There are other detrimental effects of data centers around lost revenue from sales tax breaks and long-term CRA agreements that favor developers over taxpayers. At a Meta facility in New Albany, Ohio, only 98 permanent jobs were created at an estimated cost to the taxpayer of $1.9 million per job created. And despite local moratoriums and massive opposition to these data centers locally and all over the state, the RGP is not giving up. What part of if a local community doesn't want a data center, they won't get a data center, does the RGP not understand? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Next is Connie Trudeau.
Connie Trudell, 5046 Dove Road. I'm going to continue my discussion on the dangers of low-frequency noise, as the risks to human health are significant, and this topic typically does not receive the attention it deserves. I reviewed an article entitled, "Is Enough Attention Paid to the Health Effects of Low-Frequency Noise in Today's Society?" from the International Journal of Preventive Medicine, dated June 2023, and the following information was obtained from this article. Low-frequency noise is defined as wavelengths in the 20 to 500 hertz range and can be generated from various sources, with some of the major culprits being heating, ventilation, and cooling equipment, as well as compressors. Wavelengths of less than 20 hertz are called infrasonic. Chronic exposure to low-frequency noise and infrasound can contribute to serious injuries in cells and tissues throughout the human body, otherwise known as vibroacoustic disease. Links to specific vasculature adverse effects have included ocular, namely the palpebral and bulbar conjunctiva and retina, gastrointestinal, namely the gastric mucosa and liver, respiratory, namely the lungs, pleura, trachea, and alveoli, and cardiovascular, namely the pericardia and coronary arteries. In addition, low-frequency noise has been linked to adverse effects to the reproductive system, including birth defects, immune system dysregulation, and damage to the semicircular canals and cochlea of the inner ear. Furthermore, low-frequency noise has been linked to mental stress, contributing to disrupted sleep, impaired functioning during waking hours, adverse effects to the immune system, and thus detrimental impacts on physical health. It's a vicious circle. I reviewed an article entitled 12th International Congress on Sound and Vibration, Personal Experiences of Vibroacoustic Disease Patients with Environmental Exposures from ResearchGate dated June 2024, and the following information was obtained from this article. Quote, vibroacoustic disease is a whole body pathology caused by excessive exposure to low-frequency noise, less than 500 hertz, including infrasonic. The sources can be occupational or environmental, and it can impact residential areas. A few of the human medical effects linked to low-frequency noise have included a thickening of the cardiac structures, namely the valves of the heart and the covering of the heart, called the pericardium, leading to impaired functioning of the heart. In addition, low-frequency noise has been linked to autoimmune diseases such as lupus and neurological disorders such as epilepsy. I reviewed an article entitled Global Data Center Expansion in Human Health, a Call for Empirical Research from Science Direct, dated September 2025, and the following information was obtained from this article. Noise pollution from data centers is a substantial issue, stemming mainly from the HVAC equipment and diesel generators, with links to adverse impacts on the data center employees, surrounding community, and wildlife. Quote, empirical research is urgently needed to inform policy. Little is known about long-term health outcomes in data center host communities. Interdisciplinary studies should quantify pollution exposures, air, water, noise, and track associated health effects. Life cycle assessments of data centers from power generation to hardware disposal can identify critical emission sources. Such evidence is vital to ensure that the digital revolution does not come at the expense of public health, unquote. I have a couple of questions. Are there any formal noise studies or noise frequency analyses done on data centers for us to review?
Mr. Roman.
I have nothing to that effect. I have read some of the articles you have sent me, and we are doing research at looking at adding some sort of requirements on low-frequency noise as part of our noise code. But I can tell you there isn't much legislation out there. I've looked at San Francisco's today, and they barely touch upon low-frequency noise. So we're looking for any legislation out there that cities have for noise affecting low-frequency noise.
Okay, 'cause that was my next question. How is low-frequency noise going to be monitored?
Correct. And I would argue that our language is very detailed because we do have the industries here. It's amazing how much we have. We do have language on vibration. We have clearly language on construction, as well as one thing that I see in our language, it'll say, you know, if there's an emergency, a generator needs to kick on, well, that can go up to a higher decibel limit. Well, I would argue for the data center that their generators are their power source. There can be their power source. I would argue that's not an emergency. You would stick them with a lower, you know, requirement for the decibels. So there are certain things in our code that I think we need to address. I think we need to beef it up, and low-frequency noise is of my concern as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Trudell. Okay, next up is Mr. Dan Gross. Mr. Gross.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan Gross, 1535 South Lollendorf, fourth generation Oregon resident. I'm here tonight to offer my support of the expansion of the multi-use path. Multi-use path used by walkers, dog walkers, bicyclists, young and old, electric bikes, electric assist bikes, again, young and old. And it's a great place for them to get off the berm of the road and out of the way of the distracted drivers. So it'd be a lot safer for that, especially expanding it to the Eastern Y. $4 a gallon gas coming up, kid's gonna ask his parents for a ride to the Y, ride to the rec, and they're gonna say, take your bike. So if we can improve that, be a lot safer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gross. Next is Josh Sight. Okay. Sorry about that, Mr. Sight.
Council members, mayor. Josh Sipe, 6064 Grizel. I didn't write anything down. I was at the park with my daughter, and I know it's early in the season. Huh?
Can you get closer, thanks, to the mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes.
It's better.
All right, so I was at the park. See, now I can hear myself, and it's gonna mess me up. So I was at the park with my daughter. We're going on, I think, almost 4 years without a working drinking fountain at Southshore Park. The part's on order. I called. The place it looks like crap. The paint's falling off, the everything. The lights, there's lights for security. There's wires hanging from them because they've been cut from the power. The play area itself just doesn't make any sense. There's a slide that does, like, it's like, you've seen it. It's like not even a foot wide. Like, it's a dangerous park. I don't want my 3-year-old to play on it alone, you know, let alone in the summertime when, you know, does it take, you know, a kid to get heat stroke without any water to wake everybody up, you know? The park seems ignored. And all this while I drive, and we're talking about data centers and whether we should let a data center in here. I drive by Cinevis, I drive by EnviroSafe, I drive by, you know, there's multiple refineries, and these places take advantage of our city. And where is our quality of living going? I don't hear any offers from any of these companies. I mean, Cinevis, or when it was BP, we used to have a parade. You know, they supported our city. Now these companies just get away with coming in and raping us. You know, it's, when I look at my quality of life and the park that my daughter's playing on, and the fact that the park on the east side is brand new, all throughout Toledo, they're improving their parks, which is great. While I look and hear the hum of Cinevis, watch the lights at night from my house, smell it. You know, my daughter finds chemical coke. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but that's what they burn at the power plant while she's playing. You know, if you think that we're not all going to get cancer from these places, it just blows my mind. I mean, we should be getting reparations from them. We should be getting, if anything, we shouldn't be paying for power. They should be paying for our power. They're going to come into our city. What are they offering? $500,000 to our school for a specific trade school for them, you know? While we're, you know, the citizens, we pay for our schools. We have a levy every year. Pay what, 70% of our schools' income from our taxes? So is that gonna go down? Are we not gonna have a levy this year? You know? So I'll be back next week with something written down, I guess. But, I mean, I'd like to offer, I know we have volunteers at our rec that go around, empty trash cans, whatnot. I live right there. You know, I could take my golf cart up there. I would implore you to let me volunteer. I'll take care of our park. I'll go get the paint and paint it. You know, give me the supplies. I'm not gonna go buy supplies and go do the work, you know? You know, give me an expense account, I'll go get paint it. I'll take care, we have 2 baseball diamonds that kids are on all the time. They're overgrown. You know, I'll go buy weed killer. I'll bring my mower up there and mow, you know? But I don't wanna do all the work, you know? So I'll be back next week with some ideas. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Josh. Next is Amy Mottmiller. Ms. Mottmiller. Where at? I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
You know where I live.
can't
5040
go that
Dakota Ray
quick.
Road. I'm every minute of this today. Thank you for this time. I'm here tonight to talk about the master plan. Before I begin, I want to take a moment to thank those council members who took the time to review and respond to the questions I sent in advance of tonight's meeting. That effort is appreciated. I am here tonight not in opposition to planning, but in support of making sure that this plan is strong, clear, and protective as it needs to be. Because once this plan is adopted, it does not just sit on a shelf. It becomes the lens through which future development is evaluated, justified, and approved. And that gives this document real weight. I also want to acknowledge something that may be said in response to this concern, that this master plan is a guide, that future zoning decisions are separate, and I understand that. But that does not mean that this document does not matter, because in practice, this plan is still used to justify decisions. It is referenced in development decisions, zoning considerations, and even legal arguments related to land use. And when that happens, the questions become, does the project align with the master plan or not? So, even if this plan is not strictly binding, it still carries influence, it still shapes outcomes, and it still becomes part of the foundation of how decisions are defended both publicly and legally, which is exactly why clarity here is so important. Because if something is left vague in this plan, it can later be interpreted in ways that residents never intended. So this is not just about zoning. It's not just about guidance. It is about setting a clear and responsible direction that future decisions will be measured against. As I reviewed this plan, I saw strong language around growth and opportunity. But what I did not see is, with the same level of clarity, are binding protections for residents' health, environmental safety, and long-term livability. I have 8 points. First, where are the enforceable protections that prevent environmental degradation as development expands? Not goals, not intentions, protections. Because if it's not clearly defined here, it becomes very difficult to enforce later. Second, how are we ensuring that high-impact use does not end up too close to residential neighbors? And what are those non-negotiable buffer zones? Because once something is approved under this plan, it sets a precedence. Third, water. How are we protecting our groundwater, our municipal supply, and Lake Erie from both overuse and contamination? Has this plan fully accounted for long-term demands versus capacity? Fourth, and this is critical, where is the cumulative impact analysis? Not one project at a time, but total impact of everything this plan allows. Traffic emissions, water usage, infrastructure strain, and public health effects. Because this is where our community will feel the impact, not one decision, but in the sum of many. Fifth, where are the protections for residents with health vulnerabilities, families with asthma, children, elderly residents, and how is that success measured? Not just in economic growth, but whether people are actually healthier and safer living here. 6, zoning clarity. What exactly is allowed under categories like advanced manufacturing? It's not laid out in the master plan. Because if those definitions are broad, then this plan can be used to justify developments that residents never anticipated. And once approved, it becomes difficult to say no. 7th, fairness. Which areas of our community will carry the greatest burden of development? And how are we ensuring that no group of residents is disappropriately impacted? And how will this all be tracked in the real world? The real world impact will be tracked. How will the real world impact be tracked? These are not small questions. They are foundational questions because this plan is not just about land use. It's about the air we breathe, the water we drink, the safety of our neighbors, and the future of our community. So before moving forward, take the time now to answer these questions clearly because once this is approved, it will shape what comes next. And we must be certain that what comes next is something that this community can live with and truly thrive in. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Mottmiller. Next is Diane Thorne. Ms. Thorne.
Good evening. Diane Thorne, 326 North Wynn. Thank you for allowing me this time to speak. I would like to say at first that I am not anti-technology. I know that technology is growing faster than we can even imagine. My grandson will be leaving this fall to attend Olivet Nazarene University to major in cybersecurity. I know that places like data centers are important to his future career choices. I'm not here to argue the point of the necessity of them. My issue is with the location of the data center proposed for Oregon. The noise is an issue that is very concerning to me. According to OSHA standards such as 190.95, they confirm that data center environments often reach 85 to 90 decibel ranges. This past Saturday morning, Synovus Toledo Refinery was restarting a unit. This occurred approximately between 1:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. I went out in my front yard, which is more than 2 miles from Synovus, and did a reading with a decibel reader on my phone. It read 80 decibels. This woke many people up, shook many homes, and I believe was way above the noise ordinance for our city. Will they be fined for this? I don't know. From what I have researched, the fine would be so minimal that they really don't impact companies like this. Under the Oregon Municipal Code 509.08, Synovus should be fined. This leads to noise from data centers. They have very deep pockets and can pay their fines or put them into litigation to delay the penalty payment. Data centers are known for challenging local ordinance validity, claiming that local noise laws are unreasonably restrictive. This pattern has played out in several communities across the country where developers have threatened to use litigation to force cities to change their laws on noise ordinances. This has happened in Saline Township, Michigan, with Related Digital, Challenger, Arizona, with Cirrus One, and in Williston, North Dakota, with Atlas Power, and there are others. Will this happen here in Oregon? Now, I would like to ask about tax abatements. The data center that is going in Lima, Ohio is getting a 75% tax abatement in lieu of a pilot agreement of $250,000 a year for their schools. The loss to the schools, if there were not a tax abatement, is $1.2 million to $1.6 million per year. Over the 15-year tax break, the schools in Elida will lose over $18 million. The Elida school system just approved a $1.37 million budget cut. These cuts will eliminate 11 teaching positions and reduce supplemental salaries. Yet the data center is only giving up $250,000 a year to help the school system instead of paying taxes. Is this what we have to look forward to here in Oregon? Is our city and our schools going to have little to nothing to gain from a data center if it should go in? The subject to our city and all the problems that come with data centers is that they create more hazards than there is good, more problems than there is good, and less of a good culture for our life and for our students and for our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thorne. Okay, at this time, this completes all the signed-in speakers. Is there anybody else wish to speak?
Mr. President,
He left.
that'd be me.
Mr. Horniak.
Was it Mr. Sipe? Thank you. I've been here 10 years. I would say no less than a dozen times over those 10 years, I have said, when are we going to start taking Southshore Park seriously? If there's a water fountain that hasn't worked for, I'm gonna guess that's at least a year. 3 years. If we've been waiting on a park for 3 years, let's buy a new water fountain. Let's update that park. If I'm not mistaken, I believe part of our 250th celebration is going to be at Southshore Park. I would propose we do absolutely nothing to it from today till the day of that event. And let's let people see what Southshore Park looks like. Because I ride my bike out there a lot. I own property out there. I go through there all the time. I used to coach softball. I have taken my tractor out there and cut those fields so my kids could have a place to practice. Every year, this conversation comes up, and every year we neglect Southshore Park. It really should be a gem for the city of Oregon, and we treat it like the alley. It's time to commit funds. It's time to commit resources. In the last couple of years, we have stepped up specific protocols to our maintenance and grounds crews for summer to make sure that they are at Southshore Park for the simple fact of picking up garbage. It is time either we take that as a municipal park, we treat it as such, and we invest in it properly, or let's just let it grow over. Because it is an absolute embarrassment to our community if you go out there and you look at that park and you think about all the residences that are sitting within a quarter mile of that like to use that park, that consider that park their park. It is very much, that is a neighborhood park, that is their park. And the fact that we can't get a part to fix a water fountain in over a year, then we need to buy a new water fountain. We need to figure some other things out. We were able to take the old senior center down there in a heartbeat. Why can't we fix a water fountain? Why can't we address the weeds, the ball fields, all the other things out there? There was a time we talked about putting the splash pad out at Southshore Park. And maybe that would have forced some more commitment into the park. But we have got to take that seriously because that is our main access to Lake Erie, Oregon, on the bay, if you remember. That's our park, by the bay. And every time I ride out there, I have your same experience. My God, how do we let this look like this? I'm just going to challenge and ask everybody right now from council and the administration, if we want South Shore to be a park, let's agree it's going to be a park. And let's go spend some money, let's do some things. If we're just going to let it be the back alley that collects tires and garbage, then let's just let it grow over. Let's sell it to somebody who will take care of it. But I think it's a gem, and I think we should be taking care of it. And I would really implore the administration, all of us as members, we need to stay vigilant on making sure that this is done. Because it is a horrible experience to visit that park. I would have a hard time for my children to play on that park as well. And I think it's time that we as a city step up and put our big kid pants on and say, okay, let's do something about this. It's been at least 10 years I've been saying this. You're not the first person that's been in here to talk about Southshore Park. It has happened many times, and every time we say we'll do a little bit better, and we haven't done better yet. Thank you. But that's all I'd have to say is if we are going to have that be a park, let's treat it like a park.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. Horniak, Councilman Horniak, I appreciate your passion. I wish to God I would have seen this kind of passion out of people that have been on council for 8, 10, 12, whatever plus years. And a couple of years ago, when I was approached by Sandy Ben and others about a memorial in an inclusive park at Southshore Park to commemorate the lives of Max and Ben Morrissey, the administration just shelved it, said next year maybe, whatever, never heard of it again, because there was discussion about, well, an inclusive park should be here at the rec, at the municipal building rec, and not over there, so that it just quickly got dismissed. There was discussion about it out of the budget in a heartbeat, even though I was adamant in explaining that we weren't asking for any money to even put in that inclusive park, but there were just a permission to do it. We would get donations for it. There was grant money available. Where was everybody then? I mean, it's just like, I love your passion, and I'm glad you finally, you feel like you have a voice now to speak up on behalf of the people. And I'm hoping this administration, and even those of you that have been on council for a decade or more, that you feel like now you have a voice and you're able to speak the way you just did. in defense of citizens and of our city, because we all know Southshore Park's been, and along with the area off of Woodville Road and there's other parts of our city that have been neglected grossly. And I think it's great. I hope you maintain that type of passion about it and that we all can work together, because that sounds like an absolute go-ahead for the things that the new administration wants to achieve. So I don't know what kept everybody down for so long in the years before, but it's very refreshing to hear everyone come to the defense of the citizens and agree with them and commit to doing something to make it better. So I appreciate it.
Mr. President,
You done,
well, I
Mr. Ackerman?
believe I still have the floor.
What's that? I recognize, sure. You want to speak?
That
again?
wasn't completed.
What's that?
I wasn't completed, but
Okay.
That's
when
all
you-
right.
When you stopped talking, I thought you were done.
that's a pause.
Okay.
Took a breath.
Well, you done?
But I do want to respond because your remembrance may be there. I've talked about it in budget meetings. I've talked about it on council floor. I've talked about it in parks and recreation meetings. This passion isn't new for this or many other things around the city. It's not new. But there's time we got to say either we do this or let's just stop pretending. I saw a couple half smiles like, oh, here we go again. Because I've talked about it. I talked about it in budget. What are we doing out there? How many times are we going to talk about a part for a drinking fountain? Knock it over, put another one in. These are the things that the community expects. These are simple things. We talk about the big things. It's the simple things. That's what people see in their day-to-day lives. Is the grass cut around? Is the trash getting picked up? Do the streets get plowed? Are the parks kept in good repair? And if they're not, that's our job, is to keep talking about those things and get those things addressed. That's not new passion. That's been here for 10 years. It may not be about the things you care most about, but that's not new or different. And this conversation, to me, has not been new, because I'm sure many of the members who have been on most of the years I've been here will recollect. I've brought this up a number of times, and I've challenged a number of people, why aren't we doing things? This is the time. It's early in the spring. We're going to have a celebration out there, right? When you have a party at your house, what's the first thing y'all do? We all clean house, right? Y'all pretty it up so that when the neighbors and relatives come over, they don't see your laundry on the floor because it was too hard to carry it up the stairs, right? You take care of that. Well, this is the opportunity. And if we don't do it right, and right now, we will be asking ourselves the same question a year from now: what are we going to do about Southshore Park? So now is your golden opportunity to say, here's what we need to do, and see how fast we can get it done, so it is the shining star when we have that celebration out there. Because it'd be nice for people to go, wow, I didn't know this place was that good. And our apologies to all the people who use that park all the time. Sorry it took us so long to get our stuff together. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Hornick, you good? Mr. Gibbs?
he said thank you, so I figured he was done.
Okay, I didn't hear him. Thanks for clarifying that.
I would like to add to that area out there is a hidden gem. It's ripe for development. And if we don't get on board with that, we're gonna miss something here. And as far as what Mr. Horniak said and what Mrs. Ackerman said, I would like to say we put a proposal forth to get that done. Find the money in the budget somewhere to get the place fixed up. Nick, I know you're shaking your head over there, but we gotta make it a priority.
Yeah, and that was something that was discussed in budget meetings. Although I wasn't the budget director, that was something we were looking for funds for. But when it comes to keeping the roads upkept or paying for employees or putting money out there, that's where the budget director and council had went. I would like to see improvements out there, especially if things aren't expensive. But the budget is tight, and it's only going to get tighter here. So every time I hear us talking about spending money, I just hope that the next sentence is talking about bringing in new revenue. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Hang on, sir, please come to the microphone. Thank you.
Like I said before, I mean, a working drinking fountain, if that's not in the budget, I mean, how much do you think a lawsuit's gonna be when a little girl has heat stroke and dies? Are you gonna pay their family? You
No, I
know, like,
complete-
what does that, that's bullshit. It's not in the budget.
All
No,
right, here we go.
Mr. Sipe,
Sure,
Mr. President, Mr. President.
Mr. Roman, Paul.
Mr. Sipe, what I hear you saying is basic maintenance, which is the problem. I think making sure a drinking fountain is not a huge cost. There should be no excuse. So my plan is to talk to the rec department, not wait till the America 250 celebration. And the reality is, there's a lot of basic maintenance that if it's not getting done, we got to figure out why and get on them. And that's all there is to it. And that's what I wrote down. But I do share a lot of your concerns when you have the refineries, when you have all the industry you have. Quality of life is everything. I mean, if we don't improve quality of life, and that's the balance act, the problem is, sure, the refineries are paying a lot of income tax and things like that. And I get, we have all our costs for roads and safety and everything else, but it is a balance act. You do got to make sure some money goes towards recreation and quality of life. That's why we go after these grants for bike paths and everything else, because we're trying to improve it. But it is a balance act, and I'm saying it gets difficult. When we talked about that all-inclusive part, one thing that came up in the manufacturer's brochure for that is they like to see those all-inclusive parks with a normal park where other kids are, because that makes it all-inclusive then. You know, so the idea was, should it be out at Southshore Park or should it be out back? Was part of that debate. That's up for you guys to decide. I just know that came up and was part of that. But Mr. Sipe's concern is just basic maintenance. There shouldn't be wires hanging, you know.
Mr. President?
Mr. Walzak, I'm sorry.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Roman, can you refresh my memory? Maybe about 10 years ago, we spoke here on council about moving Bayshore Road, rerouting that to make it a walkable park right up to the lake, and putting a lot of improvements into that park. So I know that there was a lot of money to do that, but we also got a lot of pushback from residents that they didn't want that road moved, and yeah.
Well, you're right, Mr. Walls. I would argue it was more like 20 years ago, but I think the original master plan suggested it, the one prior to this, and we looked at the cost of that, relocating that road. We did put in wetlands. We enclosed the ditch along Stadium, and we put in wetlands into the Southshore Park, and that took up a lot of space where you thought you could have routed a road.
Well, I do know that the conversation I'm talking about was about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
20 years ago.
Yeah,
And that was after we had moved the senior center.
Yep.
We talked about putting a fire station out there and relocating a fire station.
Yep.
So there has been discussions on
Yeah,
that, but
there
I do
has.
remember that we got a lot of pushback from the residents in South Shore Park about not rerouting that road.
Yeah, we did, and
But that doesn't mean that we can't revisit.
That's correct. That's correct. And I think, you know, we put in a walking path when we did the wetlands. We put a parallel path through there, and we put in a walking path, and I think we paved it. And we've always had a lot of different complaints, and it always seems to be maintenance oriented. I think that's the problem here. I don't think this is about a major expense. I think it's getting on the rec department to get the maintenance done.
Many times it's about garbage.
Yeah,
Emptying garbage.
yeah. That's correct.
Mr. President?
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hornak, for the passion on there, and I'm in. So let's do it. You know, I agree that, you know, I mean, we can talk about these big changes and everything else, but we have to start with the simple. Keep it simple. Start with the water fountain. Let's get it cleaned up. And it looks, I'm in. And if we want to buy some paint and stuff, I'll come out with you. Let's do it. We'll do it together as a community, right? So let's start there. So let's see what we can do, talk to the rec, you know, and see what the plan is or what they're able to do there. But yeah, if it's a matter of just getting some paint and so forth, and getting out there to clean some weeds, I'm in. So whatever is needed, I'm happy to volunteer my time. There we got another one, and another one. Look at that. See how we do this? That's how we do it. I love it. Love it. So thank you.
All right, so, I'm sorry, Ms. Davis, if I don't mind. We did get a text from Tim Borton that the fountain was fixed in October, just not turned on yet, just so you know. Okay? So the fountain is on there, just not turned on yet.
Okay, Mrs. Davis, you had something?
That's technology, you know. They're listening to us somewhere.
I know.
I just wanted to add to the.
Okay, here we go. Ms. Davis has the floor. Go ahead, Ms. Davis.
I just want to add to the, about the Southshore Park. We live right down the street from there and very familiar with the park. Been there several times. I want to know, speaking of maintenance, why can't they service the porta potties? Last year, all year long, there was no lock on it. You know, why can't, does it cost extra to have them clean them or put a lock on it? No, that's not a cost issue, that's a maintenance issue, like you're saying. Also, why not put real bathrooms in there, even if they're just the cement block ones with the door or something, so that, you know, it's more private and it's less maintenance. So that's my point, is they need to do something about the porta potties, keep them maintained, and the grass, and, you know, all the thing everybody else is saying, the drinking fountain, I've never even seen the drinking fountain working there. You know, and we go down there a lot. We walk down there, we take our golf cart down there. So it would be nice for the people in that area that don't really, you know, that's their park, like everyone's saying. I grew up in that neighborhood down there. So I was happy when they put that park in. But then you know, going down there, it's like, why can't they just fix the porta potties or get a new one or something? Nobody's paying attention. So I just want to draw attention to it.
Okay. Amy, did you have something? Ms. Miller, I'm sorry.
So, I've worked in some capacity with kids for over 30 years, and in there, we're always looking for a playground for something. There's one I could never access, but it gives you $150,000. It's due by July 1st. It's Nature Works. It's for governments. It's specifically for governments and townships and things like that. I would recommend you apply for it, because that's $150,000. It'll take care of the water fountain at least.
Buy some bottled water. Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak.
I guess mostly directed to, unfortunately, you, Mr. Roman. Is it plausible that we could have a punch list of items that need to be addressed sometime in the next week or two, and we could have a plan of attack for how to get those addressed in as short a time as possible?
Yeah, my goal is talk to Mr. Borden about it and just see what is on his list. If there's something that we're not thinking of, that he's not seeing, of course, ask me. You know, I want that input. I love that input, actually. But that's the type of things. If they're aware of it, where is it at, and what's their plan to fix it? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, I'll be real quick, Mr. Skype, right? Skype, all right, I'm sorry. Last year, I know, I had numerous phone calls, and I went down to Southshore Park, and the fountain was, it was broke. I know they ordered the part and got it. It took a while. Hopefully, I've always kind of stuck up for South Shore. I worked for the city for years. That was, to me, the kind of forgotten about gem, as some on council referred it to. It is beautiful out there, so hopefully, with this discussion, a lot of good will come out of it, and it'll get straightened up. I agree with Mr. Roman. A lot of it's just maintenance parts, and I know 1 minute, and you know, it used to be years ago, back in the 80s, I remember, you know, you'd line a ball field, within 10 minutes, you go to lunch and come back. You know, they tear, there's a lot of bad stuff years ago. I remember the minute something would get done, painted. I remember we used to have aluminum picnic benches out there. Then they went to 500-pound, I believe they're still there. They're painted blue, they're cement, picnic tables. There ain't nobody stealing picnic tables there anymore. But it has come a long way. It is nice. So yeah, to get back to what you were saying, I just think it's maintenance, and I'm sure the rec will take care of it, because it is, a good area, like all areas. Mr. Trudell.
Mr. Roman, thank you for what you said. I guess what I'm wanting to find out, and this is what has concerned me a little bit, because maybe I'm missing it on the website, but is there any report that shows the burn rate for this budget, by the various departments?
Yes, so that would be in our condition of funds. It's under year-to-date activity.
Okay, I only see like a month and then to the year. And maybe I'm missing it. Is there any way that you can send me that information? Because I'm out of all of this, I've been a little more concerned about some of the things. Okay.
If you go to the condition of fund, or the city of website, go to finance department. Right there. And then you'll see, go to financial statements. Go up, go up, go up. And then you'll see year-to-date activity. Go to that. Go to yep. And that will show where things are at in our budget for where.
Yeah, if you click on it, it basically gives the current month.
Correct,
And
yep.
then, but what I'm talking about.
But if you go deeper, go further down.
Okay.
You can get into any department, see where they're at with anything they're spending on. Anything everything we budget is 100% there.
Right, but it's only for that particular month.
I get it, yep. You have the audit, you have every audit is on there too for the last 10 years.
Okay, right, I've seen those.
So you can go through there, that'll give you the whole year for 25 is not done yet, but you'd have 24.
I'm talking the burn rate through the year, not just each month. I'm talking,
I think when you go into that, it'll show where you're at, what percent you are at for the so when you go, so let's say you go into March, you'll see everything that's been spent from January 1 to that date. You will see that in the condition of funds.
Correct, but you won't see each month individually on that report.
That's what you're looking for.
I suppose.
Yeah, we put it out new for each month.
Correct.
Yes, it gets replaced.
Correct.
So you're looking for do you want the first 2 months of the year?
We could probably get that for you if that's what you want. So.
Well, and I guess the other thing that I'm trying to understand, and maybe this is, have we ever done, analysis based on the revenue that comes in, based on the different revenue streams that we have? Have we looked at the demographics of that revenue stream to understand? Case in point, like income tax paid by, the residents, non-residents, rental, things like that, to help understand what the flux is within our revenue stream. Because I know that Mr. Severian had brought up the fact that, and to the gentleman's point over there, was a lot of the refineries, we actually give back money based on certain things. Have we ever really looked at the analysis of that?
Mr. President, I don't believe there's been an in-depth analysis of it, no. Over time, we have tried to track it and understand it. The biggest difference with the city is that we're so heavily dependent on the net profit payments that are not consistent in any way. And it has to do with how these corporations, businesses file their taxes. And that's where we talked about it 2 years ago. That's when we started talking about an income tax increase, was that in the past, they were only allowed to use 50% of their losses over the last 5 years. Now they're allowed to use 100%. And that was one of the ways that we took a major hit as a city. Now they're able to use 100% of their losses over the last 5 years. But no, there has not been a major analysis done. We do look at it on a monthly basis of what the resident versus non-resident versus withholdings versus net profit every month.
Yeah, and that's just one item, but I'm talking the entire revenue aspect to understand where that fluctuation is, how much of our budget is actually coming in by grants and other stuff like that. So we can truly understand where a lot of the things and what the effort from many of, our first responders work on to try to get those grants and things that would help. And as Ms. Montmiller had stated, what percentage of that comes from grants? Do we really know and understand our revenue stream?
Yeah, we do not get very much from grants at all.
Okay.
I can say that. Yeah, majority of our income does come from income tax, and then a small portion property tax. Yeah, we could talk more in depth on this, absolutely, if
I'd
you would
love
have
to.
some time, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trudell. Okay, any other questions, comments, council? Residents, you guys good? We good to go, or? All right, okay, we'll move on then. Okay, next we'll go on to the agenda items. I'm sorry, we got a. Okay, I'm sorry, this is an add-on. We need to add item 61 of 2026 to tonight's agenda. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Counselor, is there any objections? Who moved it down there? I'm sorry, was it Denny? Okay, thanks, Dennis. I'm sorry. And Mr. Gibbs. Yep, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Okay, Counselor, is there any objections? Hearing none. Item 61 has been added to tonight's agenda. No removals. Okay. That's this one right here. Okay, I would like to open a public hearing at 8:17 PM for a renewal application for agriculture district for Beth Ackerman for 1378 acres located at 6950 Brown Road. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the renewal?
Mr. President? So I have to go out there? Do I have to go stand at the podium?
Go out there. No, go out there.
Go out there.
No, go ahead.
Go to the parking lot. Yeah, no, I just normally, it's just strange for some reason we have this one field that's just in my name instead of my husband and I together, or his name. And anyway, I'm just excited that this still has the opportunity to be in an ag district. We get telecommunication harassment from companies trying to purchase it, and even when you tell them no, no thank you, no thank you, no thank you, leave us alone, you still continue to get harassed by them. So since I see Mr. Thompson's here, if you could please tell our GP to please leave us alone and stop harassing us. It is, well, you have, if you could pass it on, please, that they keep harassing us for our vacant land. Our GP, you tell me.
Okay, hey,
Okay.
hang on, let's get
Okay.
to the topic.
Okay,
We're not
sorry.
getting into the
But anyway,
bullshit.
it's still agricultural. It's going to remain agricultural, and it will turn into a park before it ever gets developed into something polluting. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of the application? Okay, hearing none, I will close the public meeting at 8:19 PM. Okay. I will assign item 58 of 2026 as ordinance 58 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Approving inclusion of certain land situated in the city of Oregon, Ohio, owned by Beth Ackerman into an agricultural district for a 5-year period and declaring an emergency.
Council, is there a motion? Mr. Wallensack.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for passage of ordinance number 58 of 2026 as an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Wallensack. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Steyer, will you please take roll call at council?
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Abstain.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 58 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 6 yeas, 1 abstain. Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing at 8:20 PM for a renewal application for agriculture district for Gary L. and Linda S. Zunk for 29 acres located at 6141 Corduroy Road. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the renewal application? Hearing none. Is there anyone here present to speak in opposition of the renewal application? Okay. I will close the hearing meeting at 8:21 PM, and I will sign item 59, 2026 as ordinance 59, 2026, and ask Ms. Snyder to read it in the record.
Approving inclusion of certain land situated in the city of Oregon, Ohio, owned by Gary L. and Linda S. Zunk into an agricultural district for a 5-year period and declaring an emergency.
Okay, council, is there a motion? Mr. Wallensack.
Mr. President, I move for passage of ordinance number 59 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallensack. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mr. Wallensack, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call at council, please?
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs? Or Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Sorry. Mr.
That's
Horniak?
right.
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 59 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. Okay, next one is public hearing, special use. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing at 8:22 PM. Special use. Somebody's overheating. Is that Donkey Kong or Pac-Man? That's all right. Sounded cheerful. All right, you good? All right, special use in a C2 General Commercial Zone District for the purpose of operating an adult daycare center. The applicant is Mary Colbert for owner Nauer Adma Properties LLC. The location is 2300, that's a correction on the address, Navarre Avenue, Suite 100, AKA 2312 Navarre Avenue. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the renewal application? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for hearing my special permit for the adult day. We've been in Oregon operating a home healthcare agency since 2013 on Navarre Avenue upstairs, and we're expanding the business to also extend our love and compassion towards those senior citizens that are at home by themselves and need to come out and get around their peers and perform and have activities. So we'll be doing arts and crafts and movies and zoo runs and all kinds of different activities during the day at that location downstairs. I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, ma'am, could I ask you a question, please?
Yes.
Could you tell me, I'm sorry, I'm
That's
not
okay.
good with addresses. Could you tell me whereabouts that is?
It's right at exit 7, right at the corner at the light. You look at the brown building that's right in front, either you turn left going down towards St. Charles, or either you turn right going towards the refinery. We're right at the corner of exit 7,
Okay.
getting off of the ramp.
All right, okay. All right, thank you. I know
You're
where it is
welcome.
now. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay,
Mr. President?
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I just wanted to actually speak in favor because I know you spoke to us also on the planning commission and it's an outstanding thing. So I just definitely taking care of a section of our community that needs to be taken care of. So thank you for doing that. And I feel confident everything will be fine, but
Yes.
I want to encourage and support.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs.
thank you. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. and Mrs. Colbert today. I went over there and looked at their facility, and they gave me a tour of the facility, and it was excellent. Really, it's fine shape, looks good. I think it'd be a blessing to our community.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Gibbs. Okay, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of the renewal application? Hearing none, I will close the meeting.
Mr. President,
Mr. Schrake, good morning.
good morning. Good morning. You jumped to opposition, and I'm not in that category. Just would like to bring council up on the Project Review Committee met on Wednesday, February 11th, and discussed this proposed special use exemption. The current occupancy for the tenant space is documented as B business. The proposed occupancy is I-4 institutional group daycare facility as defined in section 308.5 of the 2024 Ohio Building Code for adult daycare. And so this would require a change of occupancy that must be applied for and granted for the tenant space to be used as an I-4 occupancy. The Project Review Committee and the Building and Zoning Department have no objections to the request as submitted, provided the applicant complies with the 2024 Ohio Existing Building Code and all the requirements of the 2024 Ohio Building Code for the change of occupancy, including fire separation between occupancies. On February 17th, the Planning Commission met and approved or granted their application with the provision that the number of clients allowed in would be in conformance with the limitations or requirements imposed through state licensure. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schrake. I'll ask again, is there anybody in opposition? Hearing none, nobody is. I will close the public hearing at 8:28 PM. Okay. And I will assign item 60, 2026 as ordinance 60 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing a special use permit for parcel 4464447 for property located at 2300 Navarre Avenue, Suite 100, AKA 2312 Navarre Avenue, Oregon, Ohio, for the purpose of operating an adult day center on the property in an AC2 General Commercial Zone District.
Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Wallenczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move for passage of ordinance number 60 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Horniak. Thank you, Mr. Horniak. Motion made by Mr. Wallenczak, second by Mr. Horniak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call of council?
Mr. Wallenczak?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 60 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays.
I think she's right. That deserves truly God's word.
Okay, next on the agenda is item 41. Okay. Item 41, Mr. Schrake, would you like to speak on that?
Mr. President,
Mr. Schrake.
our office has not received any items of correction other than we did receive one which has been included in the comprehensive plan. They were typographical errors. One referencing Ottawa Township is now replaced with Ottawa County on page 15, and 5 references throughout the document to Navarre Road replaced with Navarre Avenue. Those were the only items, and they have since been corrected, so I request adoption of the 2025 Oregon Comprehensive Plan as corrected due to the typographical errors.
Okay. Council, any questions? Okay, hearing none, I will assign item 41 of 2026 as ordinance 41 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Updating the comprehensive master plan for the city of Oregon, Ohio.
Okay. Thank you. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President.
Mr. Wallenczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move for passage of ordinance number 41 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Motion made by Mr. Wallenczak, seconded by Mr. Horniak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call?
Mr. Wallenczak?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 41 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Next up is item 50. I believe that is Mr. Schultz. Ready, Mr. Rodney?
Yes, thanks, Mr. President. This item was presented last week at the Committee of the Whole meeting. It's in regards to hiring a contractor to do some water line work at Star and Wheeling. I don't have anything further to add, so if anybody else has any questions, happy to answer them.
Council, are there any additional questions on item 50 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 50 of 2026 as ordinance 50 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to please read it into the record.
Accepting the bid of Spear Brothers Incorporated, 3812 Old Railroad Road, Sandusky, Ohio, for furnishing labor, materials, and equipment for the annual waterline replacement Star and Wheeling project, authorizing the mayor, director of public service, and finance director to enter into a contract with said contractor and declaring an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
I'll
Mr.
make a
President.
motion that we accept it.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Gibbs. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Mrs. Pauloff. Thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Motion made by Mr. Gibbs, seconded by Mrs. Pauloff. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call, council?
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenczak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 50 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay, next is item 51. Anything on that, Mr. Schultz?
Nope, Mr. President, I don't have anything to add. We had a committee meeting last week that discussed actually the next 5 ordinances, and don't have anything more to add unless somebody else has any questions.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Councilors, are there any other additional questions on item 51 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 51 of 2026 as ordinance 51 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Accepting the bid of E.R. Zeiler Excavating Incorporated, 125 Substation Road, Temperance, Michigan, for furnishing labor, materials, and equipment for the LUC Oregon Multi-Use Trail, MUT Phase 5, PID 121105 project, authorizing the mayor, director of public service, and finance director to enter a contract with said contractor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell.
I move for passage of ordinance 51 of 26.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Powell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ackerman. Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Motion made by Mrs. Paul, seconded by Mrs. Ackerman. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call, council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay. Council, any objection? Okay, thank you. Ordinance 51 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay, next, item 52. Council, is there any objections?
Questions?
Any questions, I'm sorry? Hearing none. I will assign item 52 of 2026 as ordinance 52 of 2026. And ask Ms. Snyder to read it in the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to sign amendment number 1 with Kleinfelder, 5201 Levis Commons Boulevard, Suite 5201, Perrysburg, Ohio, for the additional professional engineering services for the LUC Oregon Multi-Use Trail MUT Phase 5 project in amount not to exceed $12,000.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell.
I move for passage of ordinance 52 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Powell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mrs. Powell, second by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take a roll call, council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 52 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Next is item 53 of 2026. Council, is there any questions on item 53 of 26? Hearing none, I will assign item 53 of 2026 as ordinance 53 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for funding from the Federal Highway Administration for the bid and construction of LUC Pickle Road Path and Sidewalk Safe Routes to School SRTS Project PID 124618.
Okay. Thank you. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell.
I move for passage of ordinance 53 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Powell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mrs. Powell, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, please take a roll call at council.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallensack?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 53 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Next up is item 54. Council, any questions on item 54? Okay, hearing none, I will sign item 54 of 2026 as ordinance 54 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, finance director, and director of public service to enter into agreement with GGL Consulting Engineers LLC, 3455 Briarfield Boulevard, Suite E, Maumee, Ohio, to provide professional surveying services for LUC Pickle Road Path and Sidewalk Safe Routes to School SRTS Project PID 124618 in an amount not to exceed $29,900 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell.
I move for passage of ordinance 54 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Powell. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Motion by Mrs. Powell, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call, council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenzeck?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 54 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay, next is 55. Any questions on item 55? Hearing none, I will assign item 55 of 2026 as ordinance 55 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation for funding from the Federal Highway Administration for the bid and construction of Wheeling Street Side Path Project, LUC MR 2189 0.272 Wheeling Street Shared Use Path PID 124195.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 55 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mrs. Pauloff, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenzeck?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance 55 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. Next is item 56. I believe that is Mr. Paul Romans. Mr. Roman, do you have anything to add?
No, Mr. President, nothing from last week.
Okay. Council, are there any additional questions on item 56 of 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 56 of 2026 as ordinance 56 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
An ordinance amending the classification plan of the City of Oregon as approved by Ordinance 90 of 1986 and Ordinance 69 of 2019 by updating and amending the job description of the position of Instrumentation Technician Operator 2 and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Ms. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 56 of 2026 as an emergency measure.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mrs. Pauloff, seconded by Mr. Gibbs. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call of council?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenzeck?
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 56 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Next up is item 57. Chief Began, do you have anything to add?
No, Mr. President, I don't have anything to add.
All right. Okay. Hearing none. Council, is there any additional questions on item 57, 2026? Hearing none, I will assign item 57 of 2026 as ordinance 57 of 2026 and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor, chief of police, and finance director to enter into a contract with Tina Miller to act as a case manager to the Juvenile Diversion Achieve program.
Okay, council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Ms. Pauloff.
I move for passage of ordinance 57 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Ackerman. Motion made by Ms. Pauloff, seconded by Ms. Ackerman. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call of council, please?
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yay.
Mr. Andrus?
Yes.
Mr. Drake?
Yay.
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mr. Wallenzeck?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 57 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas and 0 nays. Next is item 61. Nothing to add, Mr. Roman?
I have to present it, but if I could.
Okay.
So, it's okay. This ordinance is needed to enter into a rental agreement with the JF Society to have our American 250 Independence Day celebration on July 2nd in Oakshade Grove. Our wish is to sign the agreement as soon as possible in order to schedule the fireworks, the bands, and the stage. Everything up to now has been a verbal, and I think we're good on everything, but I'd like to just get it signed and off to the JF. They have a meeting on April 9th, so but happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Council, is there any questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs?
on this rental agreement, Mr. Roman, does all that have to be filled out now?
That's correct. Just basically authorizing the mayor to sign this agreement for the rental, but there's a lot more work with American 250 Committee in terms of setting up, actually scheduling the bands and the stage as well as the fireworks. So there's probably a lot more internally that we have to do to prepare for the Independence Day, but this is the beginning, because without the place and time, it's kind of hard to do anything else.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Mr. Walenzak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Roman and Mayor, in the past, I know there was, when we first started using GIF, there was supposedly an agreement that there was going to be a split on profits from alcohol, pop, food, things that were sold there. Is there an agreement in place, or we bring an event to them, rent the place from them, and obviously they got costs for insurance and other stuff that they do, but we get no potential profit in anything?
No, that is not included in this for this year. It doesn't mean it can't happen in the future, but not for this event this year.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because at one point in time, that was supposed to be the arrangement, but I don't think it ever occurred. I don't even know how much money they would even clear from an event like this.
Yeah. No, and there's still a lot of things we still have to do, clean up, provide the porta potties. We're still, scheduling the food trucks and so on. So it's similar to what we have done at Dunn's in the last 2 years as well. It's almost the same for what we did last year, but at the JF.
Thank you.
Yep, Mr. President, I just a touch base on that too, they are giving us one heck of a deal on the rental of it. Normally, it's roughly about $10,000 for the day, and it's costing us $2,500, so we are getting a good deal on that as well. So
I appreciate you telling me
Yeah.
that. I had no idea what the cost would be, and
Yeah.
that seemed fair enough then.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
great, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Ackerman.
it says GAF is responsible for beer and pop and water. Would the food trucks be allowed to sell water? They're not going to be just the only source of water, right?
I would think they would be allowed to, but I can check.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
They should be able to, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, the GAF said that they didn't have a problem with it when we talked to them, so,
In theory, they said beer and pop.
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll discuss it, but I can't see a problem with the water personally. Yeah.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, council, is there any other questions? Okay, hearing none.
Mr. President?
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
This is for Ms. Pfeiffer. I'm a member of some of the social parts of the JF. Do I stay out of this?
Social parts?
The dance group and like the whole soccer room
Nothing that
and
you're
the.
profiting from,
Okay.
nothing, no financial interest?
No, not
nothing.
at, it's
Yeah.
only ever cost me money to belong
Yeah,
over there,
you're-
but,
You're fine.
okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay. Council, any other questions? Hearing none, I will assign item 61, 2026 as ordinance 61 of 2026, and ask Ms. Snyder to read it into the record.
Authorizing the mayor and finance director to enter into a rental agreement with the GAF Society for the City of Oregon America 250 Independence Day celebration event and declaring an emergency.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. Council, is there a motion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Gibbs.
I make a motion that we accept item 61 of 2026.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Motion made by Mr.
As an
As
emergency.
an emergency measure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Walenzak. Motion made by Mr. Gibbs, seconded by Mr. Walenzak. Ms. Snyder, would you please take roll call of council?
Mr. Gibbs?
Yes.
Mr. Walenzak?
Yes.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yeah.
Mr. Andrus?
Jawohl.
Mr. Drake?
Yes.
Mr. Horniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Pauloff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ordinance 61 of 2026 does pass with a vote of 7 yeas, 0 nays. Okay, next up is Ohio Springs liquor permit. Council, do you have any questions regarding the liquor permit?
Mr. President,
Mr. Horniak?
I do, and it would be for Mr. Schrake. And
Okay.
sorry to put you on the spot, but I got a funny feeling you're gonna know this. Sheets originally came in as an SUE into that property. Am I remembering that correct? Didn't we have to grant an SUE because of the nature of their business versus the C2 zoning?
Mr. Horniak, Mr. President,
Mr. Schrake?
that property received the SUE prior when it was get-go.
Okay, but they're operating under that SUE.
Yes, they are.
Okay, is there anything in the SUE that prohibits the sale of liquor at that premise?
Not that I am aware of, but I can double-check that.
Okay. That was the only question I had, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Schrake. Thank you, Mr. Horniak.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Powell?
since there aren't any other objections, other than that question, do we wait for that question to be answered, or do we move ahead with advising the clerk?
Mr. Schrake?
Mr. President, Ms. Pauloff, you could make your motion, someone could make their motion contingent on that is not prohibited in the SUE.
Okay. Could I move to do that, please? Make a contingent? Mark that we don't need a hearing contingent?
Okay, all right. All right.
Do we get a second on that?
Okay, motion made by Mrs. Pauloff, seconded by Mr. Walzak.
Oh, he has it.
Hearing none, Ms. Snyder, check the box. Any objections, council? Hearing no objections, I guess you just check the box.
Yep, thank you.
Ms. Snyder's on it. Thank you, Mrs. Snyder.
Well, he can't check the box.
Okay.
He can't check the box.
Yeah.
Having considered all items on the agenda this evening, we will now move on to the mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few quick things. First of all, we had our the safety committee meeting here prior to this meeting, and I just want to thank the chiefs, fire chiefs, for that presentation, and it was very informative and very much appreciated. So well done. Thank you for doing that. Second thing is, it's a little bit in advance, but I thought I'd give a heads up. April 8th, we have a blood drive coming up with police department. And so you have a chance to sign up. You can either sign up through the app or online. I think you could probably call to the Red Cross, but that'll be on April 8th. And third, if anybody, I just want to open up to truthfully anybody, citizens, council, administration, whatever. If you have any ideas of things you'd like to see that have not been done over the years that you feel have been neglected, or ideas of ways to improve things, or whatever it may be, I encourage you to please bring it forward. My ears are open. I'm open to whatever you have in mind. Let's talk about it, have conversation about what you'd like to do or some thoughts that you have, and let's see if they can be done. I would never discourage anyone, so please, if you have any ideas, I'm open. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next is Mr. Roman, Paul Roman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things. I know Oregon has been recognized as a 2025 Tree City USA honor, and I know we'll put out a public statement for our Arbor Day ad that we put out. The other item was, and I know we had some noise Friday going into Saturday morning, and I know the mayor had reached out to Synovus and talked to their representative and said that they were restarting a unit and had flaring noise from that. But to me, it's really not acceptable when you have planned work like that. We should have received a notice just stating that what was going on and just to give a heads up, and they would have would have been received much better to have something to that effect. So I did call them today. They have not called me back, but I plan to reach out and meet with them and request that. So that's it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Roman. Ms. Pfeiffer.
Mr. President, no report.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Schultz.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schultz. Mr. Horniak.
No report, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Horniak. Mrs. Powell.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I need a little bit of clarification because at the end of the last ordinance, you had, or the liquor permit, you had asked Ms. Snyder to mark the box, but that's all you stopped at. She's not to mark the box until after we get the information from Mr. Shrike. Is that clear? That's correct?
That's how I understood it.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So tonight we had our committee meeting for safety. I want to thank the chiefs again for all their work in the report. I can't stress enough how important our safety services are to this city. Police and fire both, they do great. We have the best in the area, and I think making sure that they have everything that they need to do the best job possible for us is what's important. And we have 2 refineries. We do have industry here where we do warrant to where we need to make sure that we have the best fire service available. With the growing times and so many changes, our police need everything they need for what's happening these days. So I can't thank both departments enough for everything that you both do for this city. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Pauloff. Mr. Wallenczak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wallenczak. Mrs. Ackerman.
Mr. President, the biggest week in American birding, as if you haven't heard me say it, is coming up May 8th through the 17th. I would encourage all Oregonians to be patient with the very zealous drivers and be aware. We often have seen people pull off to the side of the road and because they've spotted something in a field, and it's just like, just please be patient and remember what they spend in our community and that they're only here for roughly over a week, but just be aware of that person that spots something, or, you know, then there may be stop traffic along the road, and I hope our police officers will just gently encourage some of them that come from all over the country and even from different countries to, around here you can't park in the street because you saw a bird. So to add to what Mr. Roman said, the tree commission will be planting their America 250. I believe we chose a maple that is the same variety that is on Brown Road just west of Coy, if anyone knows that gorgeous maple that just glows in the fall there. That's what we're going to plant for Arbor Day. We're going to do it on Arbor Day at Southshore Park, and it will be our America 250 tree. So everyone's obviously invited, and there'll be something in the press covering that and on the website too, so for the city. So with that, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Mr. Andrus.
Mr. President, no report.
Okay. Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. President, no report. However, here's a tale, okay? There was 2 dead possums in my neighborhood. One on Coy Road in Cromwell, one on Star Avenue.
By my house.
And I drove by them, I don't know how many times. Now, if I had my old pickup truck, I'd have just bagged them and threw them in the back, but I wasn't gonna put them in my car, right? So I called Streets Division. And I emailed them, and I didn't call them, I emailed them, and I told them of the situation, and I got a reply back that it'll be taken care of. So a couple hours later, I'm driving around, they're gone. I mean, I didn't know, you know, the Streets Division took care of roadkill, but they obviously do. And so I'm just shout out to the Streets Division. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. I know right where you're talking about. The one on Star was,
And I'm
Close to my
wondering
house.
why it wasn't addressed, Mr. President.
you got more clout than me. They don't like me. All right.
Just wait. They're next door to each other.
Okay, I have no report from my committee. Just a FYI, I know there's some loyal citizens that come out. Just a reminder, next Saturday is a fifth Monday of the month, so, I'm sorry, next. I want Saturday first. But there'll be no meeting next Monday, just to let people know. Other than that, that's it. Motion to adjourn? Thank you, Ms. Pauloff. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, meeting adjourned.